Da 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 da! What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Let's give YouTube a couple of minutes to get those notifications out. In the meantime, if you've never popped into one of my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And today I'm exploring a little bit with my laptop and my webcam here. And I'm trying to find a good view for this moment because I really do believe that thumbnails and the quality of your content is important. I know lots of people, they just come in and, they listen. And it's a good thing I like to yibber yabber because, you got to keep that flow going in those conversations in order to keep people's interest, to give yourself an allowance for possibly having the privilege of having them listen to you for another 5 minutes, even 5 seconds. Sometimes that's all we need to build on something new, a new idea, right? That might help us move in a better direction, maybe in a more comfortable direction. And sometimes we think it needs to be big changes. But for myself, I have found that, even in those small adjustments, it makes all the difference. So in the moment I'm playing with the camera, you get to look at all my gear. I just grabbed one more bin, so I'm going to have three medium-sized bins and the big large bin. The big large bin is my kitchen. It will have everything included in the stove in it, and it will be handy dandy right at the back of the vehicle so that I can get at it at any time. Then I have one for the front seat of the car. Then I have one for my groceries. The third one is going to be for my bags. This is a rock hounding trip, so that I'm going next month. Hi, if you've never met me, I'm Cindy. I like to explore the inside and the outside, and what I'm doing is taking a trip in 3 weeks, you guys. 3 weeks. And I'm scurrying around, right? And calmly and enjoying what I'm doing. Today, I pulled out an old map because my printing of maps was not working for me. And I got a store map, like those ones you get at the gas stations. And I laminated it with packing tape. But before I did, I highlighted and I circled my campsites, the different mines, and the different, like where the border is when I cross into the States, where I'm going to be taking the border. Just a fast, kind of quick look. If I get lost out there, I can quickly find the nearest road and get back on track. I am on a time constraint. Who would have known it? 2 weeks on the road, and I'm going to be on a bit of a time constraint in a different place, accommodations every single night. And it's going to be interesting to see how I manage. I suspect that I'll have to push myself a little bit in this trip. I always found that every time I had a little bit of difficulty or a little bit of nervousness, or I felt that breath on the back of my neck, that I found that if I just pushed a little bit uh, against what was pushing me or pushing the situation, that it would break and crack and open up to me, right? And I suspect that it will be the same deal going on from now until, right, I come home. My brother-in-law just, he picked up, I gave him a little birthday card, so he was just wishing me a thank you for the card. It's in those small kindnesses that we make people's day. Isn't that true? Hello, Andrew. Hello, Andrew. How's your day going? It's nice that you caught me this afternoon. Um, we are working on this word tenderness this week, and today's my last opportunity in this project that I've been working on. 54 powerful words, and I have been in the Word, and the Word has specifically been for me But in that process of showing up here every single day, you've got to be able to experience that process a little bit with me, because I have been in it, like when I'm at work, when I'm on the bus, when I'm doing my little house chores, when I'm doing and planning this trip, right? That I'm going on in 3 weeks. This word, tenderness, has been on my mind in contemplation over covering lots of different lessons that I have picked up along the way. And I keep coming back to myself. And this morning I woke up, kind of feeling remorseful for how I might have treated myself, how I know I've treated myself throughout the course of my life. Unbeknownst of me, if I had known any different, but right, it's kind of like saying ignorance is not an excuse, and that's the truth. And I kind of get triggered a little bit when I hear people say that it's all on you, it's all your fault, it's all your problem. And those triggers, they trigger something in me, because it wasn't in my choice, in Cindy's choice, to have had some of those experiences that I had in my life that created the person that I am. But I kind of get it, right? That it is in our responsibility, if we want to get a little bit better, if we want to feel a little bit more comfortable, if we want to be a little bit happier, if we want to be a little bit more tolerant of just ourselves, right? That's going to be through our own efforts, And so I delved a little bit into the holiday, knowing it makes Cindy happy, right? Right. I just love the idea that I'm creating this holiday for myself, this little gift for myself, right? To make myself feel like I am a part of all of this. And I'm supposed to feel like I'm a part of all of this. I'm supposed to feel like I'm included, right? After all, I feel like I was welcome to this party. But how come I stand in a room and, right, sometimes feel like I'm standing in a corner by myself or up against the wall like a wallflower, right? Why do I still feel that pushback? And that's because I'm not pushing back, right? Through the lessons and through the conversations and the experiences, just through that movement that I make, I come to understand if it's right, it's meant to be. It's gonna come into my life. And so why not enjoy my life? Why not set those goals? Understanding it is never too late. I understand that perfectly well. I believe that 100%. I am solid in that idea. So why not just move in those directions? And that's kind of what I do. And it makes me happy to be doing that. Right? In the background, I understand that there are other lessons and there are other things that are being worked out. Right? But in the process, right, I'm making being bored fun. Maybe that's exactly what I'm doing in the creation of the best human being I possibly can, and being that evidence that it can be done. Huh? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling that stress and aggravation and that confusion and that frustration and that heartbreak in the moment, right? And I'm grateful for that. I just was thinking about a quote that just before I came in live, and it was about doctors. Oh, it was about the patient. A cured patient is a lost income for doctors. It was kind of a tongue in cheek kind of look at things, but it's actually the truth, right? It's actually the truth that if we're not going to make that movement, we're going to have to divvy out and and divvy out, whether it's in monetary, in a relationship, partnership kind of manner. Maybe it's like rubbing and intolerance sometimes, right? So I kind of take that tender route in consideration to myself, right? And that kindness to myself, taking the long way around, taking the scenic route, taking the fun route, the adventurous route, the curious route, the creative route. And I think if you're anything like me, you're taking a creative route yourself. But you have to understand that when we take these creative routes, it does stall us out. And that's okay, because I believe in the baby steps. I believe that we were meant to go slowly. And I think sometimes in that rush, when we're woken up to some of these ideas, that we go into a little bit of a hurry scurry, a little bit of that panic mode, a little bit of that mass hysteria. we can go on. We could go on and on, because what you think about is realized. So I would like to think about my holiday, right? And I'm just going to slip, because I've been pressing it out amongst some books. I got my map and some of those areas all highlighted off that I'm going to be in. I'm going to be able to have this just pulled out beside me. I'll be able to pull it out and look at it in the rain, because I suspect that at some point I'll be caught in the rain, and that's part of the beautiful beauty of my holidays is the weather, right? It's just the experience to be sitting there and experiencing it this close, right? I am not organized. Well, today I'm a little bit better organized than I was, but I want to make things as easy for myself, right? Because if you can get yourself in a panic mode or in a bad situation that you should be able to quickly resolve. And sometimes, not being technically inclined, even though I am on these platforms, you would think that I am inclined, but I Google and watch reviews and how-to videos constantly, right, in order to keep up the way I do. But that is my kind of movement. That's lovely of you to say. That was a very kind thing for you to say, because it's something that I appreciate. It's something that makes me feel good, feeling like I'm organized when sometimes I don't feel like I'm so organized. I'm a little bit better today, right? Than I normally do, because when I come home from work, I like to come in and just be able to sit down and carry on where I left off. And yeah, so I'm all proud of myself, and I jotted some notes because I am going to need some mining permits. So I jotted down the different communities that I have to stop into and find the businesses where I can purchase my permit. So it's all here on the map. Another thing checked off my list. This payday, actually, Andrew, is grocery day. So it's the only thing that I have left. My last check before I leave on my vacation is the gas, and we are done. Yeah, so I this is happening 100%. Now it's just a matter of staying on my itinerary, because everything is booked, and I won't be getting any of those accommodations, any of that money back with that shorter notice of any switch outs or missing or having a flat tire, having a breakdown, and spending the afternoon at a garage, right? My first 3 days are just travel, right? I'll be sharing each day, right, in a video in itself. And, in those moments when I'm inspired and come across a beautiful landscape, or I get out to do a little bit of rock hounding or bottle digging or whatever the holiday has in store for me that day, I will be sharing it 100%. that tenderness is to myself, to just end it by saying, I have been in the topic, in the word, this powerful word, tenderness. This powerful word, tenderness, and its serendipities came right next to love, which was another powerful word that threw me for a doozy and that I spent seriously in the topic, even outside of my lives here. So, having it pop up again, just termed a little bit differently, right? It's just saying it's something to take a look at. And I recognize those weaknesses in that human in me and that misunderstanding and that lack of understanding of those other parts of me, that somehow we can find a middle ground. And that has been a big part of this conversation for me, is in that middle ground, understanding, right, that there is so much more to me than just this. But there's so much more to me also than this too, right? And it's in that amalgamation, it's in that assimilation, and it's an allowance of the desires and the wants and the service, right? Because I understand that this will be in service to not just myself, right? And that little drummer girl, I serve it out. You guys, I'll be serving it again on Monday if you want to come in tomorrow and hang out with us. Andrew's one of my moderators on that live show, Chatters Live. We do it every Sunday night. It's a great crew. They chat more than I do. And it's a lot lighter, right? Because we're delving into heavy subjects here. They're meant to kind of get you thinking about things, right? But it not in a terrible way, but in a way that will give you something to look at as you move towards the resolving of whatever you're looking at in the moment. And that's the truth. Okay, you guys, that's my good cheer. And we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for popping in, Andrew. For those of you who pop in later, put your feet up and hang out with me for a little bit. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I hope you're tender to yourself, tender, right? Tender to those around you. And in that idea, the tender of the out, right? I hope if you have aches and pains and boo boos, things that take your attention away from what makes you feel comfortable and content with where you're at in your life, I hope those